Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Hopefully everybody is staying safe. Today's video, once again, is another small project. A while ago I wanted to make some type of tactical looking knife to go with my Punisher cosplay and never did. And today I'm going to be making a sort of Rambo-esque Bowie style knife. And just like the last couple videos, the patterns for this are up on Facebook for free. So if you want, go ahead and download that and make your own. And without me yammering anymore, let's go ahead and jump right into the video. Okay, so there's only two main pattern pieces to this, and that is the blade and the guard. Now, you'll notice there's no hole in here, but we'll come back to that later. For right now, we're just going to focus on the two main blade pieces, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to line these up one on top of the other and glue them together, starting with the tip and matching it up. And for this, I'm actually not going to use contact cement. I'm going to use super glue. It causes a chemical reaction when oxygen hits it, and it tends to fuse the foam together a little bit more rigid and stiff. And layering pieces like this is kind of like what you would do, say, with plywood, where you take several plies and you glue them together, and even though it's still pretty thin and flexible, it's still somewhat rigid. So I'm going to go ahead and glue these two together. Okay, now that the two sides have been bonded together, I'm going to go ahead and take my Dremel rotary tool and sand and shape this into something more appealing. Alright, I finished sanding with the Dremel, and I rounded off the handle. Eventually this is going to get wrapped in Paracord, but yeah, rounded it off. That's optional. You could always just leave it square. I wanted mine round. Now, rounding it off made getting this area really tricky, and the Dremel slipped, but like I say, it's going to get wrapped with Paracord, so I kind of don't care. And the blade itself, I just put an angled edge on, all the way up into the clip. And the backside edge, I put an angle. You could always round it off. You don't have to have an angle on it. Part of the reason I put the angle is I'm starting to take some very sharp scissors and cut a jagged edge along here as if it were serrated so it could be used for a saw. Okay, now on to the guard here. I took and measured the center and put some lines, and I measured the center this way as well and put a couple of lines, and then positioned the piece up in the center. And once I did that, I just traced around it, and now I'm going to go ahead and stick this on, and once again using super glue, glue it all together. Okay, now that I have this glued in place, I've already took some Paracord and glued it with some super glue just to start it. Next, I'm going to wrap it, and as I wrap it, I'm going to gradually apply more super glue. Now that I've finished applying all the super glue, I'm just going to allow this to set for an hour or two and dry, just to make sure that the super glue totally sets so I don't end up, touching this and getting it stuck to my hand. Alright, this has had plenty of time to dry, and the handle itself no longer is really wobbly. Putting that super glue in there really caused this material that this Hobby Lobby Paracord is made out of to stiffen up quite well. So next I'm going to go ahead and put on the end cap, which I'm going to do by simply cutting a strip of 3mm EVA foam 3/4 of an inch wide. Okay, now that I have my strip here, I'm going to take super glue once again and I've already trimmed this to length. I'm going to glue this around here nice and level, and it's going to leave a bit of a gap at the top, which I can fill in with an end cap. Okay, so I have this gap here, and the gap was intentional. This isn't totally level due to the paracord. So what I did was, I took a piece of 5mm EVA foam, now that I have my 3 glued on here, and I pressed it down and made an impression. And then I traced around that impression, and that's what I'm going to cut out and use to plug this and make it look nice and level and even. Alright, now that the end cap is in, I'm going to go ahead and use my dremel to sand down this seam and even out the end cap. That's going to be the last of the sanding. Now I'm going to go ahead and move on to sealing this. I've already gone ahead actually and sealed the grip here so that I have a place to hold it whilst I'm sealing the rest of it. But yeah, to seal it I'm going to use some Mod Podge and a brush. Okay, I put on a solid 2 coats going lengthways. And now it's ready for me to go ahead and primer. I'm going to paint this entire thing black using my airbrush. Alright, it's a nice sort of blued steel matte black. And now I'm going to take some Model Masters Silver Chrome and do some weathering and detail work. Okay, I did the edge up pretty solid with the silver chrome there, just to make it look like a point that's sharpened, and then just kind of dry brushed in some weathering throughout the blade on each side, and a bit more on the tip on each side here as well. And then, of course, did up the pommel too, and the hand guard. And I did it here where the thumb on my right hand would rub, and I also did it here where my front finger would be, as if I were holding it, and it was weathering from that. Alright, so that's going to wrap it up for this video. I haven't decided yet whether I want to make a sheath that I can hang like this off the vest, or whether I want to make a sheath that attaches to my waist, or perhaps just on the side of my leg, like from the calf to right above my ankle. I don't know. I'm not sure yet. But when I do make a sheath, I'll probably make a video about that too, and how I attach it and what I do with it. So as always, thank you everyone for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope everybody is staying safe out there. And as always, have a great day.